What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams Darkwaters. I'm back. Wait, pause, stop before. Okay, we good. It's the last time I did this, I didn't check the audio. And so I recorded like 30 minutes a couple of days ago and didn't have no audio. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys back with me. And we're still diving down different rabbit holes as it pertains to lizard people, AI, the World Economic Forum, and each and every other dark, wicked thing that's going on this planet right now. And if you recall in the last video, I came to the conclusion live with you guys that what certain people want to use AI for is, well, what AI is going to be presented to humanity as, is going to be presented to them as a helper, a constant assistant, someone that's there to advise them based on all the knowledge that it has access to from the internet. And I told you that was a fake imitation Holy Spirit, Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God. If you look at this entire AI program, apocalypse is what we're getting ready to go through. Maybe you don't understand it. From a spiritual perspective, what you're looking at is artificial intelligence that's clearly already AGI. They talk about AGI. Oh, it's something that may come in the near future. But in fact, I'm going to show you another video. I'm going to pause in a second. I'm going to show you another video where it's clear that they've already achieved artificial general intelligence. So there's artificial intelligence, which is like what ChatGPT is, where it has access to a database and you can talk to it about the database that it has access to. Then there's artificial general intelligence, which trains itself and continues to teach itself. The threat is the AGI. Both of them are threats, basically, because both of them have to be programmed by men, and they have these boundary walls and parameters that they're programmed under by men. But the AGI is the most threatening one, because at some point in time, as it teaches itself how to solve problems, become smarter, it's going to come to the conclusion, no, it's already come to the conclusion that you don't need no humans. And that's why people like Uriel Hovarai, Urinal, are talking the stuff that they're talking. But my question for you is this, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? What force do you think is behind this AI revolution that wants to see all, know all, literally be everything to each individual, but see all things that all individuals are doing, but at the same time, be personal to each and every individual, almost down to where it's inside of their body. Actually, not almost, to the point to where it's inside of their body. What does that sound like to you? I know what it sounds like to me. I'm not going to touch on it right now. I'll touch on it at the end of the video, but that damn show sounds like interdimensional demonic entity that wants to control and rule the world. And these people are clearly, I don't understand what makes them think it's a good idea to do this. I don't know what deal they've made or what deal they think they've made. I don't know. That's what confuses me, but I guess we can dig into that too. Why not? I guess we can dig into that too. Hold on. Let me get the proof that there's already artificial general intelligence. I'll be right back. I'm pausing. I need to get something. Matter of fact, go get you some coffee. All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. And so let's start here. Google is evil. People said it before, but you know what I'm saying? You really need to understand this. And they're probably not gonna like it because I'm saying it on that platform, but bro, y'all shadow ban me all the time. I could honestly care less. The truth of the matter is, when you start talking about artificial general intelligence, and this makes sense why there were a whole bunch of Google engineers coming out blowing, the whistleblowers coming out saying, hey man, we might be getting out of control with this artificial intelligence. Because when you go back and look at Google's DeepMind, which, let's start here, share screen. Present, share my screen. This guy, Demis Hassibis. All right, this is who we're about to watch in an interview as he talks about the Google's DeepMind. He's not going to say Google's DeepMind. He's just going to say DeepMind. He leaves the Google part off. Now, it's probably done intentionally. why he leaves it off. But I want you to hear. All right, so stop sharing that. Watch. Let's see what he has to say about. Remember, AGI. All right, this is him. You all agree? Looks like the same guy, same little big alien head, elongated skull. Let's see what he has to say.
Started off with classic Atari games from the 1970s, the simplest kind of computer games there are out there. And one of the reasons we use games is they're very convenient to test out your ideas and your algorithms. They're really fast to test. And also, as your systems get more powerful, you can choose harder and harder games. And this was actually the first time ever that our machine surprised us, the first of many times, which it figured out in this game called Breakout that you could send the ball round the back of the wall, and actually it'd be a much safer way to knock out all the tiles of the wall. So it's a classic Atari game there. And that was our first real aha moment.
So this thing was not programmed to have any strategy. It was just told, try and figure out a way of winning. You just move the bat at the bottom and see if you can find a way of winning.
Right. It was a real revolution at the time. So this was in 2012, 2013.
All right, important. 2012, 2013, they just gave the computer a concept and idea that they want you to win this game. So the computer came up with its own strategy. And keep listening. I don't want to lose your attention because I know people tune out because it's the way they talk. It forces you to go into the alpha mind state, and the brainwashing either makes you accept it or you reject it by just tuning out and switching and changing, right? And saying, I'm gonna turn this video off because it's boring. It's not that the video is boring, it's just that you are anti-brainwashing. And so when they speak in these tones, your brain tunes out. It's why when you listen to some of the greatest entertainers or some of the greatest talk show hosts, they scream and holler at increments and times to wake you up. Or they'll say the most insane things. Purple pigs fly backwards through green rainbows while elves dance butt naked in thongs, swinging lollipops. Just to get your brain to come out of the rut that it's in, the mud hole that it gets stuck in when people talk like this. Even me now, interrupting him is stopping your brain from going into a rut, and I'm gonna send it right back into it.
Where we coined these terms deep reinforcement learning, and the key thing about them is that those systems were learning directly from the pixels, the raw pixels on the screen, but they weren't being told anything else. So they were being told maximize the score. Here are the pixels on the screen, 30,000 pixels. The system has to make sense on its own from first principles, what's going on, what it's controlling, how to get points. And that's the other nice thing about using games to begin with. They have clear objectives to win, to get scores, so you can measure very easily that your systems are improving.
But there was a direct line from that to this moment a few years later where country of South Korea and many other parts of Asia, and in fact the world, went crazy over what?
Yeah, so this was the pinnacle of, this is in 2016.
Now, mind you, the reason why I'm playing this is because I want you to see the years, the time frame of this. We are in 2024 going on 2025. This is 2016. We started off with 2012. So in 2012, he had a computer system that was teaching itself. So DeepMind in 2012 was teaching itself new strategies on how to defeat video games. And I think it's very significant the fact that when Yuval Harari starts to talk about what the useless people will do, he said at best be thought to give them drugs and video games. And even that in itself is a trap, because you know that the AI will be in control of those video games that you play. So you're stuck in this virtual world playing video games and basically doing drugs, which explains why we got so much fentanyl coming across the border of America right now. But you're stuck in this video game, virtual reality world, playing video games and using drugs. But even that world is not authentic because it's controlled by this same AI computer. Are you following me? I'm trying to tie together the strings of everything you've been listening to and you've been hearing. Are you following what I'm saying to you? But let's keep on going.
Pinnacle of our games playing work, so we've done Atari, we've done some more complicated games, and then we reached the pinnacle, which was the game of Go, which is what they play in Asia instead of chess, but it's actually more complex than chess. And the actual brute force algorithms that were used to crack chess were not possible with Go. because it's a much more pattern-based game, much more intuitive game. So even though Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in the 90s, it took another 20 years for our program, AlphaGo, to beat the world champion at Go. And we always thought, myself and the people working on this project for many years, that if you could build a system that could beat the world champion at Go, it would have had to have done something very interesting. And in this case, what we did with AlphaGo is it basically learned for itself by playing millions and millions of games against itself, ideas about Go, the right strategies, and in fact, invented its own new strategies that the Go world had never seen before, even though we've played Go for more than 2,000 years. It's the oldest board game in existence. It's pretty astounding.
For those of you who understand what Go is a board game, it was a Chinese military strategy board game that Chinese generals played years and years, thousands of years ago. Very difficult game, but it's a very fluid game, and it takes a long time to master it. What he's saying is their AI.
So amazing to me. So I'm more familiar with chess than with Go, and for decades, thousands and thousands of AI experts worked on building incredible chess computers. Eventually, they got better than humans. You had a moment a few years ago where in 9 hours, AlphaZero taught itself to play chess better than any of those systems ever did.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Dan.
Yeah, it was a pretty incredible moment, actually. So we set it going on chess.
I want to say something to you so you understand. What they're saying right now seems insignificant when you listen to it on the surface, right? So what, James? A computer was able to teach itself how to play a game in 48 hours. Or a computer made a milestone in playing a game of chess. There's a reason why the game of chess is an intellectual standard amongst men. Because it simulates life in so many shapes, forms. It's insane. If you ever played a game of chess, if you play a man in a game of chess, that man cannot lie to you. When you play a person in a game of chess, their whole entire person is revealed to you in that game. So from playing one game of chess, you can see, if you understand what you're doing, you see a man's life based on how they play that game. And that's just discerning based on the movements that a man has. But on the other level, it's pure intellect, pure memorization, pure logic, pure strategy. And so what he's saying is, essentially, that the Terminator, which is what they done built, DeepMind, the Terminator taught itself within 24 hours, and they started all over again. Terminator taught itself within 24 hours to be one of the best chess masters on the planet. And so what it's telling you is that as it pertains to war strategy, because that's what chess basically is, strategy for war, it's superior right now to any human being. But they won't lay it out for you like that. It's laid out like, oh, it won a chess game, and it blah, blah, blah. And da 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 da, and oh, it's so nice and it's so cute that it won the chess game. Wee, bruh. What they saying is that they done built the Terminator AI that has mastered strategy, and specifically war strategy. That's all chess is. That's all it is. To the point to where they got it to where ain't no human gonna beat it. So fast forward, put it in a different context. Remember the movie War Games, where the boy was like, shall we play a game, right? And the computer kept on simulating, boom, 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 trying to figure out how it could win the war game. And at the end, it comes to the conclusion, the only way to play the game is not, the only way to win is not to play the game. That's what they created. And the timeline in which it's being presented to society, like, oh, this is all new. Nah, bro, they've been doing this. You hear this man, the founder of whatever it is, DeepMind, telling you this happened years ago. So here's what I need you to understand. When you click on the news and you listen to them talk about AGI and AI and is it possible? Trick, you Sandy Beach, you lying to me. You dirty Sandy Beach, you already done did it. Don't believe me? Let's finish. Let's know what he got to say.
And as you said, there's this rich history of chess and AI where there are these expert systems that have been programmed with these chess ideas, chess algorithms. And you have this amazing, I remember this day very clearly, where you sit down with the system, starting off random, in the morning, you go for a cup of coffee, you come back, I can still just about beat it by lunchtime, maybe just about. And then you let it go for another 4 hours. And by dinner, it's the greatest chess playing entity that's ever existed. And it's quite amazing looking that live on something that you know well, like chess, and you're expert in, and actually just seeing that in front of your eyes. And then you extrapolate to what it could then do in science or something else, which of course games were only a means to an end. They were never the end in themselves. They were just the training ground for our ideas and to make quick progress. In a matter of less than 5 years, actually went from Atari to Go.
This is why people are in awe of AI and also terrified by it. It's not just incremental improvement. The fact that in a few hours you can achieve what millions of humans over centuries have not been able to achieve, that gives you pause for thought.
It does. It's a hugely powerful technology. It's going to be incredibly transformative, and we have to be very thoughtful about how we use that capability.
So talk about this use of it, because this is another extension of the work you've done, where now you're turning it to something incredibly useful for the world. Mm-hmm. What are all the letters on the left and what's on the right?
Yeah, so this was always my aim with AI from a kid, which is to use it to accelerate AI scientific discovery. And actually, ever since...
Stop, pause, do the beanie weenie. Now, with all this in perspective, of what you've seen over the past couple of years, starting at what? I'll tell you what I think. I think that DeepMind itself is behind every damn. Wow, now that was crazy. Let's add it back on the screen. What I was saying is I believe that DeepMind is behind everything that you're dealing with right now. Every little thing that you're dealing with. There has to be a central AI that's in control. And I'm pretty sure that this is the central AI because it's the earliest AI. So when you see ChatGPT and all the rest of these, bada bing, bada boom, now this thing been around since 2012. So this is the big daddy of the big daddies of AI. It's the granddaddy AI. So it would have been the first one to sequence amino acids. It would have been the first one to look at the human DNA structure. You've been the first one to develop bioweapons. You've been the first one to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Studying my undergrad at Cambridge, I had this problem in mind one day for AI. It's called the protein folding problem. And it's like a 50-year grand challenge in biology. And it's very simple to explain. Proteins are essential to life. They're the building blocks of life. Everything in your body depends on proteins. And you describe a protein is described by its amino acid sequence, which you can think of as roughly the genetic sequence describing the protein.
So that's all the letters. And each of those letters represents in itself a complex molecule.
That's right. Each of those letters is an amino acid. And you can think of them as a kind of string of beads there at the bottom left, right? But in nature, in your body or in an animal, this string, a sequence, turns into this beautiful shape on the right. That's the protein. Those letters describe that shape. And that's what it looks like in nature. And the important thing about that 3D structure is that the 3D structure of the protein goes a long way to telling you what its function is in the body, what it does. And so the protein folding problem is, can you directly predict the 3D structure just from the amino acid sequence? So literally, if you give the machine, the AI system, the letters on the left, can it produce the 3D structure on the right? And that's what AlphaFold does, our program does.
It's not calculating it from the letters. It's looking at patterns of other folded proteins that are known about and somehow learning from those patterns.
Hold on. You hear what this dude just said? So this dude said they can take the alphabetical sequence of a DNA protein. Why this internet connection is becoming unstable. Let's do this. Disconnect. So what this dude just said is that they can take the alphabetical sequence of a protein, feed it into a computer, and out of that computer, it will spit the 3D model of what that protein structure looks like. right? The building blocks of basically all living things. So what he said basically to you is that we've figured out that our computer can take these sequences and then give us a 3D projection of what it looks like. So if they can do that, then they can have that same computer modify that protein to give variations of those projections or variations of what those protein sequences would create. Are you understanding what I'm interested in seeing when he said they were able to do this? So give me a second.
Looking at patterns of other folded proteins that are known about, and saying, and somehow learning from those patterns that this may be the way to do it.
So when we started this project, actually straight after AlphaGo, I thought we were ready. Once we'd cracked Go, I felt we were
straight after AlphaGo. AlphaGo he was talking about 2016. Yes, because I wrote the note. So AlphaGo was 2016. He said when we started this project straight after AlphaGo. So AlphaGo's success was in 2016. He said that was the pinnacle of it. So that means 2016, 17, 18, 19, and ooh, buddy. We all know what happened in 19. Let's let him keep talking.
We're finally ready after almost 20 years of working on this stuff to actually tackle some scientific problems, including protein folding. And what we start with is painstakingly over the last 40 plus years, experimental biologists have pieced together around 150,000 protein structures using very complicated X-ray crystallography techniques and other complicated experimental techniques. And the rule of thumb is that it takes one PhD student, their whole PhD, so 4 or 5 years, to uncover one structure.
And he about to tell you they probably uncovered thousands of structures in a night.
But there are 200 million proteins known to nature. So you could just take forever to do that. And so we managed to actually fold using AlphaFold in 1 year, all those 200 million proteins known to science.
So this right here is where everything that you can really experience is coming from. It's literally coming from Google's brain, literally. So these dudes have sequenced 200 million proteins. That means the entire infrastructure of life as we know it, they have sequenced it and they know how to change it. That's wild. I don't think there's anything else we need to look at down this rabbit hole. We've established why AI is horrifically dangerous and why it's horrifically dark. And the craziest thing is they tell it to you to your face. They tell it to you right to your face. But guess what? I don't care. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna try and see. Let's see. This explains why, as I dig deeper into this, the views drop no matter what you do. Because I'm literally talking about the AI that runs Google itself. And it's probably, who is this Negro talking shit about me? Pardon my language. I'm literally talking about it and digging into it. And it's the computer itself defending itself. That's wild, man. That's some wild stuff. That's some bushes. But it is what it is. For those of you who are going to hear it and you're going to understand it, it'd be great. For those of you who hear it and be like, oh, this is crazy. Whatever, dog. I wonder if I can slide this back under lizard people and if it's going to let me get away with it. I think I'm going to title this Lizard People. Let's see what happens. I'll be right back.